Captain Purple here again, and the newest video in my series of the prehistory of ancient Mediterranean piracy. Anyways, we're still into Egypt on this series, and Egypt's involvement with the Egypt section of the prehistory of the Mediterranean piracy. And today we're going to talk about the Armada letters and pharaohs and other stuff. Anywho, jumping into it, I'm going to be relying pretty decent on the notes. I really don't have a lot of time to read on the information for this specific video, but there's just a lot going on. So anyways, Luca and Sheridan, I hope I said that right, Sheridan, in particular, they're mentioned in the Armada letters, which are a series of 362 stone tablets. No, clay correspondence tablets, not stone. From the king of Babylon to the pharaoh Amenhotep, or his son Akhenaten. Anywho, they were about the facts of the sea raiders were not just beginning to plunder ships, but take whole towns, capture whole towns. And this is they're referenced as pirates are referencing this to the sense of thieves rather than they were than the generic term for aggressor. Let me repeat that, just in case the coffee mug. They were referenced more as thieves than they were the generic term for aggressor, which has been the term agreed upon apparently from these cultures, that they were aggressors despite how you viewed them. Anyways, that was that term originated from that term originating in the Mediterranean. Anyways, one of the earliest recorded inscribed on the clay tablets were while Akhenaten reigned, depicted the pirates' ships in 1350 BCE. Nearly a century later, Ramses II recorded on the Tanis stele. I don't want to say Tanis stele. We'll go with that. It sounds good. I like it. Anyways, he recorded the unruly Sheridan. Okay, this is a recording. The unruly Sheridan, whom no one had ever known how to combat. They came boldly sailing in their warships from the midst of the sea, none being able to withstand them. So basically, these Tanis, not Tanis stele, the Armada letters were depicting these sailors as ruthless savages who pretty much consumed all in his path and were unstoppable. They just keep coming. So they I should have prepared better. So they're depicted in 1350 BCE as they're these savages, and which many could argue was pretty much how pirates got their more or less throughout history. Lore has been key in a lot of victories, such as for example, going with piracy, Blackbeard wasn't that big of a guy from what I gather and what I understand. I mean, for example, I'm only 5'10", 210 pounds, but he wasn't ever depicted in anything like paintings and such bigger than that, drawings and so on. But he was said to be this, massive giant of a man, basically from his, and it wasn't even said to, really, that's not how it started out. So what would start out is people talked about his conquest. He was very tactical. He was very in battle and so on and so forth. A very intelligent human being and very ruthless. He would do things such as he would tie match cord into his lit match cord into his beard. Oh, he tied match cord into his beard, weave it into his beard, light it, and anybody doesn't know what match cord is. Match cord is actually the early ignition, the ignition system for a lot of early, for the earliest black powder weaponry. A lot like matchlock weapons. You would take a piece of match cord, light it, and when you pulled it wasn't a trigger back then. But when you pulled basically like a trigger, the lever, it would bring it down and ignite the powder, and that's how it would do it. So he would take this match cord, weave it into his beard, and light it, and it would slowly burn. It didn't burn fast, so it would slowly burn, and it would be real smoky, which would disguise his face. Which, especially way back then, if you could not see into a man's eyes, people feared a lot. To this extent, some of it hasn't changed. I mean, some people, the eyes are the gateway to the soul, and I mean, if your eyes are unseen, then you can't tell one way or another. So stories would be told about him, and these huge, massive stories built him up. And most people got this idea that Blackbeard was this hulking, mountainous, monstrous man, uh, tall and huge, and ate babies and all kinds of stuff, whatever they could concoct and come up with. So reputation back then was very vital in intimidation factors, and not so much different here with these letters of Armana letters of Armana letters, building these people in the steel. What was that again? The oh, I forgot what I said. Uh, Something steel. The Tannis steel were very similar to that. They built up this inward legacy of these massive sea raiders, which would instill fear in many people. I'm not sure it was meant for that purpose. So like it was believable that, I mean, and when you get that type, when people read this and they're told this, if they could read. A lot of people were illiterate back then, so they couldn't read. So a lot of it was told by by word of mouth. In fact, actually, going back to Blackbeard, when he died, it was said that because his head was cut off, and it was said his headless body swam around his ship a couple times, and before it came back up on deck and flopped around and died. So, and people would believe that. I mean, he was just a human, but people believe that because of his reputation that was built up. So yeah, today that's what we're looking at. Is today in this video, that's what we looked at, was the reputation of the pirates through verbal and, well, probably verbal and written word. I'm assuming it would be verbal, much like anything else. Even today, people read something and then they say this to this person, they say it to this person, so it gets spread by word of mouth for those who don't read or can't read. So that being said, I'm going to wrap this up, and the next video will still be touching into Egypt. The next couple videos, based on my notes here, I'm still going to be in Egypt for the next couple videos, and then on to Greece in this series, and then that's only going to be a short stop in Greece for that bit of the series, probably 2 or 3 videos, and then I will wrap up this series and probably just do a throw-in video, something on, I don't know, probably some kind of fact or fiction, or reason for something, or myth or whatever. So that being said, thank you for watching my videos. Again, like, share, comment, subscribe, and again, thank you, and God bless.